get your grind on with us as we finish our start sits for this week. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dynasty After Dark. We're back with the second half of our start sits for week number 6 here, and it's a good one. Hopefully you guys checked out the video yesterday where we went through the first slate of games there, but if you haven't noticed, if you're just checking this one out, you haven't checked out the other one yet, we got new intro music. Hopefully you guys like it. Let us know down below. We appreciate all your guys' feedback, but I like this music. I like it a lot more than what we had before, so let us know if you like it as well. But more than the music, I like my co-host a little bit more. I got him here today. I'm your host, Calvin Timms, my co-host, Dale Terry. We're going to be breaking down the second half of the week 6 slate, going through all the different matchups, all the different players, how we would start and sit all of them. But how are we doing today, Dale?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. You know, it's a season that is a quarter of the way done, and it feels like it just begun. So, you know, like here we go on week 6, and I'm just excited for the season to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's definitely something. It's that time of year where it's easy to fall behind, and make sure you guys just stay in there. Listen to our content. This is helping me stay accountable for all my leagues, instead of, all it takes is 1 week of you not setting the right guys or forgetting to swap out a bye player or something like that. And all of a sudden you miss playoffs and you could have maybe potentially won your championship. So make sure you guys hang in there. I know it's getting tough, but you guys can do it. And I want to get a couple titles out there for you guys. Make sure you get some titles out there. So that said, before we get into today's video, if you can, follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube, Rumble, wherever podcasts are found. While you're there, if you can leave a comment down below, if you can subscribe to the channel, like the video, it just helps us with the algorithm, gets it out there to more people, and we appreciate that. And also, I wanted to just give a quick shout out to the Betting After Dark podcast. That's going to be dropping tomorrow when you listen to this. My sister and I, my co-host, my sister, we're going to be giving some gambling advice, talking through some betting lines that we really like for this upcoming week. If you're not a big gambler, not the podcast for you, that's totally fine. But if you're looking to make a little bit of extra money on the side, come check it out. Week 1 was a pretty good success for us, made a little bit of money there. And we're going to have some good lines. There's some interesting player props out there that I have been checking out the last couple of days. So make sure you guys tune into that podcast on Saturday. And yeah, you can hear our starts and our money lines that we like to bet this week. So that said, Dale, any last thoughts before we jump into this?
Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Let's go. Okay, so we are going to be picking up where we left off yesterday. Again, if you haven't checked out yesterday's video, we went through the first 7 games. We're going to get the last 8 here today. So hang in there. We're going to go through them pretty quickly. We're going to be moving at a pretty brisk pace, but there's a lot of good players that we're going to be talking about, and I'm excited. So jumping into the first game, the 1 o'clock matchup between the 3-2 Indianapolis Colts against the 3-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are back at home, actual home, not London home, after an extended week, couple weeks abroad. What are we thinking about Trevor Lawrence? Is he startable against this matchup?
He is. I'm not super excited about him at all.
He was fine last week. I think he's okay.
I think he's just been mediocre the whole year.
I think that they're trying to figure something out. I think that's the problem.
I've never been a big Trevor Lawrence guy. I feel like he's overhyped, like other people that are coming in the draft. You're
just jealous of his hair, Dale.
I am a little bit, but it's for him being this generational talent. He hasn't really shown me a lot of generational.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's close, but he definitely needs to take that next step.
I get that he's on the precipice of doing stuff, but right. I'm okay starting him in this. Like he started week 1 against Indy. He had 17 points. That's fantastic. Like that's a very solid quarterback.
Yep, for sure.
That you can have.
What about Minshew? Are you okay starting him?
I'm okay with it.
I
He's
don't think
been okay.
Jacksonville's defense is good enough to really keep him down. And I think I'm
Yeah.
with you. Good enough.
Yeah. I mean, he's okay if you need a spot start for, the next few weeks.
Would you rather start
With
Gardner Minshew or some of the guys we talked about yesterday? Like, would you rather start him or Derek Carr?
I'd rather start Gardner Minshew.
Fair, I agree. Would you rather
You know, you
start
know.
Sam Howell or Gardner Minshew?
I would probably rather start Sam Howell because I feel Howell has better weapons, but I do think Gardner can really get it done and be solid.
Okay. Running backs, ETN, definitely startable. Tank Bigsby, you got to sit him for now. He unfortunately has not gotten the usage. On the flip side, Jonathan Taylor, I think is startable. I know that they said they were going to ease him back into it. I think they're going to try and take the training wheels off this week a little bit more. I do think it's going to be a 50-50 time split this week on their way to getting Jonathan Taylor ramped up fully. So I do think Jonathan Taylor is startable, and Zach Moss is also flex worthy this week still. But I can see the arguments that if they fully go into Taylor this week, I just don't expect them to go one and done for the ramp up period. So
and I agree with that. Like with him conditioning and too, like Jonathan Taylor had some injury issues all of last year.
Right.
That
He's just
were
going to take a little bit of time.
issues.
Right.
So it's just gonna take him some time to be back to that 80-90% snap share.
When he is, man, if he can be like Zach Moss, how Zach Moss has looked, and I do think he can. Shane Steichen looks like the real deal from a coaching standpoint. So Jonathan Taylor, he's going to be only getting better as time goes on here. Receivers, Michael Pittman, I think is very startable. I think Josh Downs is also very flex worthy this week. 100%. Him and Gardner Minshew have had a very good connection, less so with Anthony Richardson, but for the next couple of weeks, I think Josh Downs is going to be very worth it.
Yeah. Yep.
On the flip side, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, all three startable. Who are you starting here?
I'm fine with all three of them.
Okay.
I'm fine with Jones. And he's flex worthy. I feel he's very flex worthy. As long as he's on the field, he's going to get some targets.
Yeah.
In this offense, I prefer Christian Kirk over Calvin Ridley. I know people were so enamored. Were so enamored with Calvin Ridley, over the offseason, and I kind of feel he hasn't been really up to snuff quite yet. And I think Christian Kirk is the guy. But I'm going to start all three of these guys.
Fair enough. And that's where, because I'm fine starting Evan Ingram as well. I'm not starting a tight end for Indy, unfortunately. But if we're okay starting 4 weapons for for Trevor Lawrence. He's definitely start worthy, right? So, all right, let's jump into the next one here and go to Carolina versus Miami. 0-5 versus 4-1. This is gonna be a bloodbath, man.
I'm laughing because it's gonna be an ugly game, and I'm excited for it. I'm finally being able to rep my Dolphins and feel proud about it, and not like hide in the shadows that I've been doing for the past, like my entire life.
Yeah.
So
they're a good team for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, and with this, I am starting Tua, and I think I'd rather start Derek Carr over Bryce Young.
I agreed. Bryce Young's been he was okay last week, but it took a lot of garbage time. Unfortunately for him, I don't think Miami's going to give them the ball as much as they had last week. So, he's not going to have as many opportunities. Miami's going to be able to run the ball so well against this Carolina defense that they're just going to run the clock out. They're going to get up early, and they're literally going to run the ball out, right? Run the game out.
Agreed.
I'm with you. Start to sit Bryce. Running back wise, I'm not starting anybody on Carolina, unfortunately. Miles Sanders is still dealing with the groin injury. Chuba Hubbard, I don't think is good enough to be the number 1 here. So you got to sit both of those guys. Raheem Mostert is playable, especially without Devin Achane. Are we interested in Jeff Wilson at all without Achane?
I think I'm just going to stick with Mostert. I don't really know what Jeff Wilson's usage is going to be.
Right.
He's been on IR the whole year.
Right. So
and he
we just talked about ramp up for Jonathan Taylor. We could probably see something similar. So Mostert's going to carry the rock a ton. Yes, I could actually see a lot more sweeps to Waddle in this one.
Yes, I could see that. I could see Mostert and Ahmed, having most of the carries. I don't really think Jeff Wilson's going to be that involved. I can see him having a couple touches, but sure. I would rather just stick with Mostert.
Fair enough.
On here.
Mostert's going to have a massive week, by the way.
Monster game. Yeah, it's going to be massive. So
wide receivers, Adam Thielen, startable. DJ Chark, I actually think is startable this week, just because of the matchup.
I was about to say that too. Like they're going to be in a very
plus,
negative game script.
Like a plus passing game script.
Yes. A plus passing, which they could pass 100 times in this game, and I don't think it's going to go very well, personally.
Right. So DJ Chark is flex-worthy. Thielen, you got to keep playing Thielen. He's just been too good. On the flip side, Tyreek Hill, definitely. He's just, you got to start him. Jalen Waddle, startable for sure.
Yep. Waddle. Yep.
Are you starting your new wide receiver, Chase Claypool, this week?
I would rather not. Yeah, no. I feel he's going to be a tight end here in a couple weeks, but that's beside the point.
Probably. He would be a better tight end probably than Smythe would. So Durham Smythe.
Right. Yeah. So I think Claypool is going to be interesting, and I think they're going to try to get him some touches this game and see how he plays.
I could see him taking a couple screen, jet sweeps and stuff.
Or like some red zone targets where he's lining up kind of close to the line and then having a fade.
Do you think? I can see that. Do you think? Are you willing to start either Durham Smythe or Hayden Hurst in this one?
I would, of the two, I would rather start Hayden Hurst because of the game script. But
I agree.
I'm not feeling good about it.
I'd rather start Chig than Hayden Hurst, who we talked about a little bit yesterday.
Yeah,
so
I probably would too.
I don't love it for good old Hursty here, but yeah, this one's going to be a little bit of a blowout. Unfortunately, Bryce Young just has not been what most of you guys expected for fantasy football. So I'll say it that way. Let's jump into the next game, which is going to be disgusting. The 1-4 New England Patriots go to Las Vegas and play the 2-3 Las Vegas Raiders. Dude, this one, you couldn't pay me money to watch this game. I'm not watching this game.
I will say one thing, that the Raiders have one more win than I thought they were going to have.
Dude, they played so poorly against the Packers. It
was so bad. Oh my gosh. It was so
that game
gross.
I literally watched that game and I was sitting there and I was saying neither of these two teams have any sense of urgency in this game whatsoever.
It was really, I don't know what was. I did not watch that game, and I didn't watch it for a reason because I didn't want to waste my life watching it.
Yeah, so. I don't know who's going to win this game. I also don't care. I think New England's going to win this game, and I think it's going to be a negative for us. I'd rather lose, to be honest with you. But
so you could be in the Caleb Williams.
I don't even want Caleb Williams. I just want Marvin Harrison, dude. I just want a good weapon for once in our lives. But that said,
stop as a Patriots fan.
I know. Dude, we haven't had good weapons in years, though, to be fair, since Edelman.
That's true.
It's been a long time.
That is very true. Anyways,
Mac Jones. No, none of these guys are startable. Yes. Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is interesting this week.
He's at least flex worthy.
I'd rather start him than Jacobs.
I think I would rather start Jacobs. I'm going to stay in the Flames. I think they're going to use and abuse Josh Jacobs. I know New England has a really good defense, but I think Jacobs is twice as better as Ramondre Stevenson.
Talent-wise, I agree with you, but yeah, be worried about Jacobs this upcoming week. The New England defense is very, very tough. So
yeah, it is. So any pass catchers we're starting on New England side?
Yes, I'm actually fine with starting pretty much all of them. I'm fine starting Devontae. I'm fine starting Jacoby. That's all of them essentially. But we're missing Christian Watson or Christian Gonzalez right now, our number 1 first-round pick, who looks like a pretty good cornerback. I know we just traded for J.C. Jackson back from the Chargers, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it was a weird thing, and
yeah,
I think
he's going to be very good. He's very good with Bill Belichick. So, I just don't know if he's going to be good enough on his own, because our other corners are not great. So him on Devontae Adams alone is going to be a little rough. But Bill is good at scheming guys out. I just think Devontae Adams is too good, so I'm willing to start him.
Someone to watch though is going to be Michael Mayer. His usage has gone up. So that's just something to look out for. I'm not going to start him.
Don't start him yet. He's someone that I think at the end of the year we might be a little bit more comfortable with, but they are starting to 100%. Get him involved for sure. On the New England side, I'm starting Hunter Henry, and that's the only pass catcher that I feel good starting.
I don't like starting Hunter Henry, but you almost feel like you have to.
This is actually a good matchup for him. They're not going to need him to block overly much in this one, so I think that they're going to be able to get him involved a little bit more. Him and Kendrick Bourne, Kendrick Bourne is the one guy I would flex if I had to pick somebody from the New England pass catching core, but again, I would rather not for any of these guys. All right,
so let's move on to a potentially better matchup.
Okay. 5-0 Philly Eagles go to the 2-3 New York Jets and play them in New York. Tell me why this is potentially better.
Oh, I feel that the Pats Raiders game is like probably the worst case scenario, and then this is like a step up, barely a step up because of you have Jalen Hurts, who
he's startable for sure.
I actually don't hate if in a super flex league starting Zach Wilson because the Eagles secondary has not been very good this year.
It's true,
and I think their defense
The problem with Zach Wilson this week is that offensive line is still
garbage.
Dog crap.
It's garbage.
It's so bad. And the defense, their secondary sucks, but their defensive line does not. And they are going to destroy Zach Wilson in this game. They're going to have 10 sacks in this game. I can see it.
It's going to be amazing. So for the running backs, are we staying in the flames with Swift?
Yes.
Are we going to be Swifties this week?
Jets are good against the run, but I think that you can still play him.
I think you can start him, but I don't think he's going to have as good of weeks as what he's had.
For sure. Brees, Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell has been a consistent wide receiver 4 all season long, but unfortunately that's not great. So you're not going to start him. On the flip side, Brees Hall, I'm okay starting him. I think the explosion is there, and they're going to try to scheme him open. You know what I mean? So I think that he'll be okay. I don't think he'll have a blow-up game again against that strong defensive front for Philly, but I think he'll be good enough. He'll pop off.
Yeah, I agree. So on the wide receivers for Philly, we're obviously starting AJ Brown.
I actually would not start AJ Brown.
Really?
I think he's going to have Sauce, and Sauce is very good.
I literally don't care. I have to go by it's the NBA Jam rules, I have to stay
I actually think this is a massive Devonta Smith game, personally.
That is very fair. That is very fair. He only had one reception last week, so
right.
I can see him
squeaky wheel, man. Squeaky wheel. That's all season for the Eagles right now. So
yeah, and then Dallas Goedert. How you feeling about Dallas Goedert?
He's startable in this one for sure. So for me in this game, I am starting Devonta Smith. I am sitting AJ Brown. I am sitting Garrett Wilson, and I'm starting Dallas Goedert. That's kind of how I see this one.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
I would start. I actually think you can start Tyler Conklin in this one too.
Yeah. I'm more worried about Garrett Wilson than AJ Brown. So I would feel better about. I'm still playing AJ Brown. Garrett Wilson, flex consideration, but if you have better options, I would look elsewhere.
Yeah, unfortunate. They just need a quarterback over there that can. I like Zach Wilson, but it's just he needed this year to just sit, man. He really did.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah.
All right, let's go to
get beat up. Yeah,
I know. The problem is he's just not learning anything. You know what I mean?
No,
he's just getting destroyed behind a bad offensive line, and it's just it's not ideal at all.
It is not good. It is not good. All right, so we are moving on to the 425 matchup with the Arizona Cardinals.
1-4 Cardinals against the 2-3 LA Rams. Rams are going to win this one for sure.
100%.
Josh Dobbs, I think is startable actually in this matchup.
I'm good.
Dobbs is startable. Like, he's fine.
He's been decent, but like, I'm good.
Like, who's starting, Josh Dobbs or Jimmy Garoppolo? Dobbs, like Dobbs. Who you starting?
Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, if that's the option. So, but no, I get it. Yeah, I mean, if you absolutely have to do Josh Dobbs, but like I would rather start Ritter over him. Now,
I actually would start Ritter over Dobbs personally, but I do think that in a super flex, Dobbs is playable this week. He'll be a top 24 guy for sure. He'll probably be a top 20 guy. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but
I feel the opposite way. You know, I'm kind of But for the Rams, I'm starting Matt Stafford.
Yep.
He's actually stayed healthy this year, and
their offensive line looks really way better, like way better.
It's tremendously better. Are we starting any Arizona Cardinal running back that whoever spent their remaining fab on?
I'd probably start DeMarcado, to be honest with you. He showed some juice last week, so I'm fine with it. I am not
starting any of these guys. I think they're going to get consumed by Aaron Donald, and I'm not getting anywhere near them.
Rams defense is okay, but Aaron Donald's one position in the middle. DeMarcado is going to be the pass catching guy. So I'm fine with it. You can listen to Dale or you can listen to me, whoever you want. You can pick your adventure here. Kyron Williams is definitely startable for sure.
Yep, 100%.
He's a good player. Nobody else unfortunately they only run Kyron Williams and Rivers as the only two guys. So wide receivers, this is probably pretty clear cut. I'm starting Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
I'm not starting Rondale Moore. And correct. I'm okay flexing Michael Wilson.
I feel like I probably have better options other than Michael Wilson, but
I could see this one being a good bounce back for him.
That's fair. Yeah, I can see him being flex worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so on the flip side, Koopa Nakua,
whoever it is, I'm sorry.
Both of them.
And Nakua, how about Tutu Atwell?
No, not in this matchup. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think with Cooper Kupp back, I don't think there's enough to go around, unfortunately. Now Tutu could have a bomb touchdown and, all of a sudden his day is fine, but I'm not betting on that, unfortunately.
Right. And how are we feeling about Tyler Higbee or Zach Ertz?
I'm fine with Ertz. Ertz is fine. Yep, he's such a high PPR floor that you just gotta start him.
I agree with that. I mean, and I would love to feel better about Higbee, but I think with Kupp back and
it definitely hurts him more than it helps. And Kyron Williams has shown a lot from the backfield too, in terms of being that safety valve of I can just dump it off to him, because that's where Higbee always performed so well, right? Is when Stafford was in trouble, or Baker when he was playing for him last year. Like when they were in trouble, they would just dump it off to Higbee because they didn't trust whoever the running back, Cam Akers or what was his, Darrell Williams,
right?
Whatever his actual name is, I can't remember off the top of my head. But they just didn't trust the running backs to receive the passes and utilize them in that role. But they do trust Kyron Williams, so that definitely just hurts Tyler Higbee, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, now speaking of Baker, we're going to talk about the 4-1 Detroit Lions going to take on the 3-1 Baker Mayfield Buccaneers. Who do we think?
Baker, moneymaker.
Yeah, I actually think Baker's pretty startable in this game, to be honest with
you. I would rather start Mayfield than Dobbs.
I'd rather start Mayfield than Wilson, than Mac Jones, than Gardner Minshew, Jimmy G.
I would put him in the same vicinity as Gardner Minshew too.
No,
You know,
I
kind
think
of a
he's
mid
going to be
league.
way better than Gardner, in my opinion. But I can see that.
I like that you think that. I'll just,
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there. You know, Baker's really surprised me, but
That
you
offense
know,
looks good. It really does. And
it looks better than I expected.
yeah,
So,
with the first time offensive coordinator
but
too,
they're
like you just got to give him some
but they
credit.
are going up against better competition with the
True.
Lions. Like the Lions have played pretty well on defense. Like
Yeah.
I mean they're not like world beaters or anything like that, but they
The one
played a
thing
lot
with the
better.
Lions, I mean, you look at who they've played though, they've gotten up to such big leads early in the game
Yeah.
that they've been able to kind of make a few plays on defense and just really shut down a lot of these teams. I don't know if they're going to be able to get out to that big of a lead in this one as they normally have been the last couple of weeks. And I think this is a very fun one for 425 because I think this is going to be a very interesting back and forth game this week. So that said, though, I do think Baker's startable. Goff is startable for sure as well.
100%.
Montgomery, you got to start him.
Oh yeah, after what Dan Campbell said today, that like
It's not great.
yeah, it's not good for Gibbs. It's basically saying that David Montgomery is going to be the workhorse of this offense. So you know, I don't really care that the Tampa Bay, you know, it's the Bucs D has been playing really well. I still think Montgomery's going to eat, and he's
are you sitting Gibbs in? I am personally.
I am too. You know, I'm kind of in wait and see mode for him.
Unfortunately, he's just not getting on the field, and you know we can't predict when that's going to be because that's a coaching decision, right? So it's not an injury thing. It's not like okay, last week was an injury thing, but it's like.
Right.
The reason why they were holding him before that was not injury related. It was just coaching decision. So until we know that for sure, we can't make that estimation.
Right.
Rashad White, is he startable in this one?
He's flex worthy. He's flex worthy. Like,
okay.
I would consider it. You know, he's been pretty solid in the receiving game.
I'd rather start him than Josh Jacobs this week.
I feel better. I just think Josh Jacobs is that entire offense, and it kind of runs through him, and it's the opposite for Rashad White. That's how I feel.
Fair enough.
That's just me.
Fair enough. Wide receivers, I think Godwin's fine. He's got a nice, safe floor. Mike Evans, startable. Yes, definitely. That's pretty much it there. On the flip side, Amon-Ra, he has been practicing, so he's probably going to play. Hopefully we can see a little bit more from Jameson Williams this week. Unfortunately, they kind of came out and said that he was on a snap count last week, trying to ramp him up. So
and he probably will again, you know, because he has had the soft tissue injuries and
we'll see what he can do.
The ACL, so
we'll see.
So.
But he's someone to just monitor. Hopefully he can kind of take that step.
I'm actually fine with flexing Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, he's good.
I'm fine with that.
He's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. So
then on the flip side, so the one guy I want to talk about here. So obviously you're starting Sam Laporta. Dude's just been 100%. Rock solid.
He's been fantastic. Yes.
Right. Kate Otten, is he startable?
I think.
In this matchup, I think yes, but I am willing to hear opinions.
I'm going to say no. I think I don't think he gets enough targets, and he's going to be touchdown dependent.
Would you rather start him or Tyler Conklin?
I think Conklin, because he's going to be Zach Wilson's best friend. But that's beside the point. He kind of has been. So I don't think we've seen enough from Kate Otten to really give him starting nods quite yet.
Fair enough. I do think that there's some potential there. Remember, he's a young tight end as well. So, you know, if it continues, I do like how they're utilizing him a little bit early on in the season. So just keep an eye on it for sure. This will be a fun one, to be honest. With all the games in this afternoon slate, this will definitely be the most fun to watch.
I agree.
All right.
And then for this and then for the Sunday night game, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be really gross with the 1-4 New York Giants against the two.
Who's the quarterback?
3-2. It's going to be Tyrod Taylor. Daniel Jones is probably not going to play. That's going to be my guess. And it doesn't matter who plays. This offensive line, the Giants,
bad.
is bad.
Unfortunately, though, Buffalo lost half their defense last week in London.
Roughly
so
half, yes. That is. I still don't think it's going to matter because I think whoever is going to be running for their life and not doing well. I really wouldn't be shocked if Saquon sits again this week.
He should. I know that there's some workout video, but he looks sluggish on the field. He's got a lot of tape around that ankle, and like you're risking it for nothing. You're risking it for nothing.
Yeah, and it's not worth him to do that. So whichever quarterback starts for the Giants, don't start them.
Yep. Yeah, Josh Allen,
do not start
startable.
100% fire up the stallion. Please do. Yes.
Running back wise, so if Barkley plays, excuse me.
If Barkley plays, you almost have to. You almost feel like you have to start him.
I agree. The offense is going to run through him if he starts, right?
Yeah, but it's not going to be pretty. But he's still going to get you 15 to 18 points.
Right, he's going to be just from a pass catching volume standpoint. But the only thing you have to worry about is the re-injury risk, right? So just keep that in mind. James Cook, is he startable?
I feel he's flex worthy.
Yeah, I could see it, especially against the Giants, man. They're not a powerhouse.
Yeah, I think they're flex worthy. I think I kind of have him in the same boat as maybe a Tajay Spears kind of way. That's kind of how I feel about him.
Right.
So it's flex worthy, but I don't feel great.
All right, fair enough. Wide receiver, are you starting any of the wide receivers for New York?
Absolutely not. I would rather,
especially without knowing who the quarterback is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it's going to be. They're going to throw it. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, the nice thing is this is Sunday night, so it doesn't matter that we don't know that the quarterback we don't know who the quarterback's going to be until probably Sunday at 4:00. But you're not going to rely on any of these guys anyway. So just sit them all and say you all are great slot receivers for this team.
Peace out.
On the flip side, Stephon Diggs must start. I'm sitting Gabe Davis this week, and I'm a big Gabe Davis guy, and I like Gabe Davis, but I am sitting him this week. I do not think that.
Tell us why.
Well, he's got a mini Christian McCaffrey streak going on here. He's scored a lot of touchdowns in a row. I don't think that's sustainable, and I don't think they need him to be a must-score type of player in this game. Can he do it? Yes, but I don't think they need him to, and that's where
I'm okay throwing him in your flex if you need to, but I do agree with you that I think we've stayed in the flames long enough. It's time for us to step out.
Yeah, cash out if you can. But if you're on a heater at the casino, right? You've got a lot bet on black here, and it's hit quite a few times in a row. You can stay with it one more time, but eventually it's gonna come due, right? So. I'm pulling my chips out this week on Gabe if I have that opportunity, but I can, because here's the reason why. And I think that they're going to try and get Dalton Kincaid a little bit more involved this week. You spent a first round pick on this guy.
As long as Kincaid plays, he was
right. True.
He was out with the concussion. He's been limited all this week with
that. Is true. That is true.
So he's probably going to be more of a game time decision. We'll probably know Saturday if he's going to play.
Fair.
So
just keep that in mind. Well, I would not be starting Kincaid regardless, but I just think this is the game where they could try to, because Diggs is going to be fine. I think they're going to try and get him more involved because it's not going to be a nail biter of a matchup, right? So, on the flip side, I'm fine starting Waller regardless, Tyrod Taylor or not.
I don't think Darren Waller's going to start with a groin.
Oh, that's right. Monitor that. Shoot.
Yeah, monitor.
Dude, this whole team is banged up. What the heck?
Yeah, basically don't start your New York Giants.
All right, there you go. Fair enough.
Basically, just don't start the entire team.
Yep, that's really rough. That's really rough.
Let's go ahead and move on to the Monday night matchup.
This one will be a little bit more interesting, I think.
It's gonna be fun.
Dak Prescott, I think, is going to have a good bounce back game. He's startable in this one for sure. I think Herbert, must start for Herbert, but Dak Prescott, unfortunately, has played a few really tough defenses in a row, and he hasn't been
really good.
He hasn't been good, but he also hasn't been needed for part of it too, because that defense was killing it. Now the defense is getting wrecked with injuries and everything, so they're gonna need Dak to start to step up a little bit more. And Trey Lance is still there. That if Dak doesn't get it around, I could see them being a team that Jerry Jones is not the guy to mess around.
I kind of feel some fans are already clamoring for Trey Lance. I don't.
They want to see him. They want to see him at least be the backup. There was no reason. There was no reason you shouldn't have had him as the number 2 last week in that garbage time gameplay, right? But McCarthy's going to McCarthy here. But that said, in this matchup, I do think Dak Prescott is playable. Tony Pollard is playable for sure.
100%. Yep.
Eckler's scary because
Eckler is going to start, and
is
he's
he
going to. Yes.
If he doesn't start, he's going to screw you.
Oh yeah. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Like if I think
you have to make that bet going into Sunday, because it's a Monday night game. You have no other pivot options. Like, going from Austin Eckler to Josh Kelly is not a great time.
Bad.
So
it's pretty bad. So I mean, I think Austin Eckler is going to play, and so I'm fine with starting him.
Fair enough.
I'll probably end up being wrong, but that's because I'm just assuming Eckler's going to play. So.
Fair enough. Tony Pollard must start again as well. I think he's going to have a very big bounce back week this upcoming week. Wide receiver wise, Keenan Allen, play him. Josh Palmer, I think, is playable. Quentin Johnson, we'll see what they can do coming out of the bye. I really want to see them get QJ involved in this offense, but
it's been really weird with Mike Williams being out, and they're not really giving Johnson like that much snap. Well, he got some more, but
it's Brandon Staley, dude. He's not a good coach. He's just not a good coach.
He's gonna get fired sooner than later. So
hopefully,
yeah. So Keenan Allen, I'm starting. I'm flexing Josh Palmer. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, sit Quentin Johnson until we see the usage go up. But CeeDee Lamb on the flip side, I think, is playable, especially in this matchup. They just got rid of J.C. Jackson for this team, which I mean, your defense is rough already. I
think he was a character problem.
Yeah, he did not fit with this group. Like
he did not.
You got to think too. J.C. Jackson played with New England for many years, and like he was with us when we were still pretty decent as well. So he's seen a successful team, and I don't think that he's gonna. And probably the greatest defensive head coach in the league currently of Bill Belichick, and you go from that to Brandon Staley, and he's probably like, "What the hell is this, man? This is a joke." So that said, CeeDee Lamb is definitely playable in this one. I'm not starting Brandon Cooks.
Nope, and I'm not even really going to get near Michael Gallup. So I think the player I am going to start is Jake Ferguson.
I'm with you there. I like that. And actually, I think that Donald Parham is actually startable in this matchup. I do think that he's on his way to overtake Gerald Everett for the number 1 job here.
I'm wait and see. I think you can do better with either of
fair.
I mean, and with this being a Monday night game, especially
that is fair. That is a good point.
That's
pivot off of Parham.
I mean, if this was a Sunday afternoon game, I'd feel better about it because I could have other options. Sunday night game. With this game being the last game, I think you have better options throughout the week that you're able to do.
Fair enough. Now, this one will actually be a decent one because I don't know who's going to win. It's going to be back and forth, but whoever loses this is just going to be hilarious.
I can see the Chargers charging, but I can also see the Cowboys cowboying. So.
Yep, exactly.
I am all for it.
That is exactly right, my friend. That is exactly right. So, all right. Well, that said, thank you guys for joining us here today. Hopefully you like this Week 6 preview breakdown. Like I said, go check out the first half of the games yesterday. Come back tomorrow for the Betting After Dark podcast where we're going to break through some gambling lines there with my sister. She knows her stuff, so, she's got some good advice for you guys. Make sure you guys check that out as well. in the meantime, if you can, one last time, like, comment, subscribe on the video. You can follow us on Twitter at TDC_Calvin, at Dynasty After Dark, and at FF After Dark for the podcast. And yeah, we're just trying to grow all off season long, all in season long, and just giving you guys tons of content, trying to grow the channel. So we appreciate all you guys, especially those that made it this far. So that's it. Dale, any last thoughts? All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, listen to our sweet new outro music. Let us know your thoughts on it in the comments below. And have a good night.
And we all got dreams. We all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?